Welcome back. Thanks very much for staying with us here on SABC News. Let's now continue on the ANC Policy Conference that's to get underway from tomorrow at Nesrec. We are now joined via Zoom by Dr Fikile Vilakazi. A very good afternoon to you, Dr Vilakazi. A pleasure to see you again.
Good afternoon to you and good afternoon to the viewers at home.
Let's start here. I mean, it sounds like something we've heard before, and it's becoming sort of rhetoric at this stage. We heard the president of the ANC talking about what this policy conference is to focus on. And of course, again, saying that they'll prioritize tackling the economic growth as well as job creation. I mean, should we take that seriously? Or is this going to be yet again another one of those that we're going to create jobs? And again, we don't see that happening.
My sense is that we are stuck in a cycle of promises. And I'm saying that because they are referencing Vision 2030. They are talking about this plan of job creation linked to the National Development Plan that highlights some of the things that the country should achieve by 2030. And since this vision was adopted, actually very little has changed in the country around job creation. We just see a lot becoming worse and worse. And my sense of why that is the case is because of the kind of a model that they keep going back to, which is a model that has demonstrated itself to fail. This is a neoliberal model, and I know it sounds like a rhetoric. If you look at where we come from with the Reconstruction and Development Program, which is a program that clearly had a very, very clear vision around creating jobs, changing the livelihoods of people, making sure that people have got houses, literally alleviating poverty. But we shifted to gear, we shifted to ASGISA, and now we came with this National Development Plan with Vision 2030, which really is still centered around a particular paradigm, which is capitalist in nature, which is a paradigm that puts a lot of emphasis on businesses, and the role of business in job creation. The president himself in SONA, the State of the Nation address, actually said this, that business is the one that creates jobs. Now, let us look at the role of business and how business has treated South Africa throughout since 1994. A lot of people, particularly even including the black elite that has joined the ranks of business, have not really treated citizens in a wonderful way. We know that when you are saying that you are going to rely on business, you are talking about people whose priority is profit,
right.
Not people's livelihoods. So that is the only challenge I have. And I think because they are not seeing that model as problematic, that model as not working, is going to get us into a place where we just are sitting with empty promises as a nation again.
Yeah. And what are your expectations then going forward for this policy conference over the weekend? I mean, some, already predicting that, what will be the focus actually is this issue of the step aside, which has really sort of reared its ugly head yet again last week in KZN. A lot of people discussing whether it should be taken out altogether and not be part of the policy. What are your thoughts of what is going to actually happen as they have this policy conference?
I think I foresee a battle of ideas. I foresee a battle of ideas that is going to happen at this conference, because clearly there's a division within the ANC in terms of whether step aside as a resolution should stay or it should go. There are very few provinces. Now we know Limpopo supports KZN in terms of making sure that they're going to push for the policy to be scrapped. But you do have other people within the African National Congress who are tired of corruption, who are saying, let us clean up our house. Let's make sure that we own up to the corruption that has happened. So I see a contestation of ideas that is really not going to end up taking us anywhere. We are going to come up out of that policy conference with a far divided ANC than we even see now. That is my anticipation.
The fact that you're saying it will be far more divided, so you are anticipating the fact that those divisions that we have seen, those factions which we have seen, and I must say, some in the leadership of the ANC are saying that it's not really an issue of factions, it's different ideas, and I wonder if you disagree with that. So you'll see that. Do you believe that we'll see that playing out even more at this policy conference?
Totally. I mean, if you just see KwaZulu-Natal conference that has just finished now as a province, they're gearing up towards radical economic transformation, right? The faction that is won is a faction that is totally against the step-aside resolution, similarly as Limpopo. So I do not see how that is going to change. This is a region that is the biggest in the ANC. It's a region that is known to have shaped ideas, to have shaped direction in terms of leadership as well. And KwaZulu-Natal is really organizing itself to go to this conference to be a strong voice. So that is definitely going to it's telling us that there are divisions. Those divisions are factional, but also these are contestations of ideas. There's an ideological crisis within the ANC as an organization, which is not just a crisis, ideologically around, for instance, where the organization should be going economically. There's a political, ideological crisis as well, whether the ANC should be going back to Pan-Africanism or should it continue in the manner that it is running itself now, which is moving itself away from Black consciousness, issues of African Renaissance. Just around the policy of international relations, for example, the ANC is battling. So it's not just radical economic transformation. The ANC is battling to take a stance around questions of xenophobia in the country, whether actually should we call other people and brothers and sisters who come from Africa as foreigners, or should we consider Africa as a country? So they've not taken a positionality on that matter. They've shifted. There's a lot of contestation within the African National Congress on these matters. So that is just the reality and the state of affairs. And to shift the ANC from that place into a place of unity, it really calls for an overhaul, total, complete overhaul of the African National Congress, strategically, ideologically, and so on.
All right, Dr. Fikile Vilakazi, always a pleasure having you on the show. We certainly do appreciate your analysis. That is political analyst there, Dr. Fikile Vilakazi, joining us there via Zoom.